This next transformation tool demo covers the reflect tool, the shear tool, and the free transform tool. We'll start with the reflect tool. Tear off my geometric shapes. And for this, I'm going to just draw a star. And I'll throw a color on there. Okay. So say I want to make a reflection of this star. Find the reflect tool. It's located inside the rotation tool. So we'll just tear that off. There's our reflect tool. Now I could double click on this. Okay. But if I don't move this point of origin, it's really not going to give me a preview because it's just reflecting over top of itself. So I'm going to cancel that out. What I need to do is move this point of origin. And just like with the rotation tool, we want to get a dialog box as we move the point of origin. So just like with the rotation tool, I'm going to option click outside here. And there's my dialog box, and the default is a vertical at 90. Okay, and that's what we want here. So instead of okaying it, I'm just going to copy it. Okay, and I have an exact reflection of the star. Now this tool was really handy if you're drawing anything that is symmetrical. Anything that is perfectly symmetrical, it's the same on both sides. Well, if you try to pen tool that, it's never going to be perfect. So what you do is you draw half of it, and then you use your reflect tool to reflect it, and then you join the paths. So that is the reflect tool. Okay, next is the shear tool. And we're going to use the shear tool on type because the nice thing about the shear tool is you can edit type even after you've applied it. So I'm going to go to the type tool. Shortcut key is T. And I'm just going to click once. And it'll give me a little flashing cursor. And I'll put my cap lock on and type Illustrator. Okay, now I want to blow this up nice and big so you can see it. One thing I could do is I could bring up my character palette, Command T, T for type, and I could start to increase the point size. Okay, but an easier way, or a way for this, is I could just use my black arrow selection tool and shift drag on my bounding box, and that'll blow it up for me. Okay, so we have our type. And then we need the shear tool, and this is the shear tool right here. You find it inside the scale tool. Okay, and once you're in this shear tool, you can shear it by hand. You can just click. Once again, there's that point of origin. That's what it's going to shear off of. You can just click and drag. Okay, and that will I'll shear it for you. Command Z that. One thing about doing it by hand, it's easy for it to just take off on you. See, so sometimes you obviously can't even read it. But you can use a dialog box to shear it. So to do that, I have my type selected. I'm going to double click on the shear tool. Turn this off once. Okay, and what we have here is we have the shear angle, okay, and then we have the axis angle. What this would do is basically rotate it as you're shearing it, but we want to keep that on 0. Now what this is good for is if you do not have an italic font, you can make an italic font by just simply shearing it. So we'll preview this. You can see it's starting to put that slant in there. You can type in what you need, and it'll start to shear it for you. Okay, or you can just do it this way. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and okay that. As I said, what's nice about this tool is this is still a font, so I can still edit it. So I can take my type tool and just click inside here, and then I'll just move my cursor and continue to type. Okay, so that is the shear tool. So I'll go ahead and delete that. The next tool is the free transform tool. This is a great tool for adding perspective to shapes or to type. And what we're going to do is first I'll just draw a shape. Okay, and then I'm going to hit E. That puts me in the free transform tool. Okay, and what happens when you go into the free transform tool is you get this little guy pops up. And this thing likes to hide. So sometimes when students are doing their free transform quiz, they can't find this, but it might be hiding behind something else. But it does pop up for you. Okay. Now this can be used to transform type or shapes, that is. Okay. Right now I'm just rotating it. Okay. This one will add perspective. You can see it's squeezing it now. Okay. See that. And this is a free distort. Okay. So you've got those options in there. This will be on one of our quizzes, the free transform quiz, or what we call the Star Wars quiz, but you will see that on a separate demo. So that is the 5 transformation tools: scale tool, rotation tool, reflect tool, shear tool, and free transform.